It's Jeremy's first time in New York City and our first trip together, so today we're going to visit all of the must-see New York City places. Everything from the tourist traps that you have to do at least once, to some special places that I know he'll love, like the spot David Bowie once called his favorite place in all of New York City. So come along with us as we discover New York City together, and with our dog, for the very first time. And what better place to start than in the notorious Times Square?
Times Square is one of those places that locals notoriously hate, and I can see why. It is pretty overwhelming. There's just a lot going on, and there's a lot of like gimmicky, touristy stuff. But it is one of those iconic places in New York City that you have to see at least once, and it's Jeremy's first time here, so we're here to see some of those tourist traps that you gotta see. And how are your thoughts on Times Square so far?
It's alright, it's interesting. We were here the other night and I feel like it was more overwhelming at night than it is right now. It's cool.
The MTV building is right over there. We're gonna go check it out. That is one thing that I always geek out about Times Square being like of the TRL generation. This building right here is where MTV was. Like, I'm trying to remember, was it that end looking that way that was TRL, or was it like that corner from the other direction looking this way? I think it was that end. But I'm not totally sure. I don't know, do you remember? It's been a minute. It's like one of those things where it's like, it's so cool. You've seen it in movies, you've seen it on TV. It's really cool to actually see it in person. And then you get to go and do other stuff. It is funny because we are in the middle of Times Square and Carly does not seem so overwhelmed. Like, she's like, it's cool. I'm fine with this. We just saw Amanda Lepore. I don't know if you know who that is, but there she goes. Got distracted by a guy trying to hand us medallions that he wanted to sell us. But hey, we saw our first New York celebrity.
Ooh, Sparrow. I don't think it gets more New York than that.
I officially went inside a store in Times Square, so we're good. On to the next place.
We're not too far from Rockefeller Center, which is a must-see attraction, especially during Christmas. We're here in the summer and it's a little underwhelming.
The whole area may be under refurbishment, but that's okay, because I got my photo with a picture.
To be standing in front of 30 Rock, it's really just a neat thing to see in person.
I didn't realize Radio City Music Hall was right next to 30 Rock.
There's also another reason we came over this way. There's a Nintendo store. This was at the top of Jeremy's list.
Not only is there a bunch of cool merch in there, but it's almost like a mini museum with a bunch of neat stuff on display.
Okay, so you're supposed to visit Central Park, but I thought that for Jeremy's first time here, I would take him to Washington Square Park. This is the spot David Bowie once called his favorite place in the city.
There's one specific reason I brought Jeremy here, and I hope he nerds out about it. This is what he called his favorite place in New York City.
Alright.
You can be underwhelmed, but can you ever just be whelmed?
That's cool.
This park has everything. People playing chess, birds eating honeydew melon, a resident squirrel whisperer, everything. This park is much more crowded than I expected it to be honest. It's a lovely park. There's a gorgeous fountain, there's plenty of good vibes and good music happening. There's a lovely arch to take your dog photos with. I mean, you can take your regular photos too, but dog photos are important. One really kind of creepy thing is that this is actually was a burial ground for New York City. I guess it got so full that I think somewhere around like 1824, 1825, the city voted to close it, and a few years later, it became a park. Wow, we're in Greenwich Village. We're gonna come to a spot that our friend Brian recommended. He said that this place, Dough, basically put eating cookie dough on the map. Although, if we're being honest, I did that on my own back in the 80s.
2 scoops. The top one is salty sweet,
Which was a sea salt and dark chocolate, and underneath that is the banana pudding. Ah,
Yeah, these
he
birds.
literally just took some.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
He came up and stole some of the cookie dough? Wow.
Yeah,
He
it
took
literally
some.
jumped up and
That
took
is
some.
so rude. No! Oh my god, what a rude bird. That is not polite. Get away! Go away! Oh my gosh, no wonder no one's sitting out here. Alright, well one day you'll get to try it. Now that all the birds have had some.
Oh, hey. No. Little turds.
Quick review before the birds eat the rest.
Salty sweet is good.
Funny, even though it's not. It's so rude. I can't tell if she's just tired or the birds freaked her out. That was so good, but I feel like that was a very awkward situation where we very nervously ate and I didn't get to fully enjoy it, although it was fully enjoyable. When they're in the area, you gotta see where David Bowie lived.
I mean, I wish he was still around, but it's kind of cool that we get to see where he used to live.
This building right here. Apparently has a cool like rooftop garden. David Bowie lived here over 20 years in New York City and considered this home. So it's pretty neat. See David Bowie's New York City. We got one more stop today. And we gotta make it before sunset because we gotta see it in the daytime. We got out of the subway and went from being worried about losing daylight to being worried about getting rained on. It seems intense out here now. Holy cannoli! Oh my god, it is hailing! It's very windy, things are blowing over. I think it's time for us to call it a day. We came to the closest subway station. Everyone else is outside, I can hear them screaming. So yeah, we've made a good choice to end our day here. We'll see you tomorrow. Good morning. Well, yesterday may not have ended as planned, so we're mixing things up a little bit this morning. We're actually starting our day here at Little Island. This is a brand new park that just opened on Pier 55. It's supposed to be this like neat park, event space, art space. So we're gonna go check it out. The inside told us that even in a backpack she was not allowed in there, so Jeremy left and I went and checked out the rest of it, and it's a really cool little park. Like, there's gorgeous views. From one point you can see the Empire State Building, you can see One World Trade Center and like almost all of Lower Manhattan. You can also get a view of the Statue of Liberty, the beautiful New Jersey, everything. Just around the corner from Little Island is Chelsea Market, which is like a pretty famous market. So I think it's dog friendly and we're gonna go inside and check that out.
There's a really interesting art concept in here, and also there's just no one here right now. This little section has what looks like a bench, but it says no sitting, so I guess it's just part of the art?
I really wanted to like that place, and maybe part of it is that so much of what we saw was closed, but it kind of reminded me of the Ponce City Market in Atlanta, but it was like even bougier and fancier, which I guess that makes sense because I've heard a lot of celebrities like to come to this place, but I don't know, it just reminds me, like we're in the meatpacking district, and it reminds me of Sex and the City. It's where Samantha lives, and I remember like later on in the season she talks about how like it kind of got ruined because they like remade it all fancy, and I'm like, yeah, like this place. Seems appropriate that right across the street is a Starbucks Reserve, which we've never been to. Should we go? They seem fancier, but that's not on our agenda today. We've got more stuff to see, so let's go do that. Yay! We made it to the place that we came to yesterday, but got rained out and immediately left. This is the Battery. This park I've seen in a lot of movies, like some of my favorites like Home Alone and Desperately Seeking Susan, and I'm excited to be here. It's the first time I've ever been. Let's go explore.
Came around the bend in this path and you can see the Statue of Liberty right over there. It's not a bad view.
Now yesterday, we had actually planned to take the Staten Island ferry because we heard that it's a free way to get a great view of the Statue of Liberty. We decided today we'd just stick around in the Battery and, you know, recreate scenes from Home Alone 2.
Battery was named after the artillery batteries that were built here in the 17th century. There is a fort that you can visit, although I think it looks like it's under construction right now. And there's also a really cool looking carousel that looks pretty neat as well. Most people come here for the Statue of Liberty. The main like sightseeing cruise leaves out of right here, but you can also see it, and it's probably the best view without taking one of those cruises. Look how close that helicopter's getting to the Statue of Liberty. Dang. We've already walked about 5 miles today, but we've got a little bit more walking to do because that right there behind me, that's the Brooklyn Bridge. I don't know, I can't decide. I think I would like to walk across it. It's a very like touristy thing to do, but I think it's like one of those things that you have to do at least once, and I've never done it before.
I'm not in love with the fact that it's so high up.
We'll see how it goes. Carly says, I don't care what we're doing as long as we just keep moving. Well, this section's a little unsettling.
Don't like it.
You can see through the ground. Alright, Jack. Sit up there and look like a model.
No.
It's really not fun when bikes ride by. Hey, we did it! Hated every minute of it.
Kinda.
I think it's deceiving how not comfortable that made either of us, although Jeremy was definitely much more apprehensive about the entire experience. But it starts out like cement and you're in the middle of the bridge between the 2 lanes of traffic, so you're like, oh, no problem, I won't be afraid of this. And then it turns to wood slats and you go like 20 feet above the rest of the cars, and yeah, it's a little scarier than I thought it was gonna be. Why doesn't anyone mention that? I'm proud of you. I know you did not like that, but hey, now you can say you've crossed the Brooklyn Bridge.
I can. Could have done that in a car.
It's all worth it because right outside of the Brooklyn Bridge is the cool, hot photo spot under the Manhattan Bridge. Got our dog photos, so that was important. We noticed all these tables sitting out here underneath the Manhattan Bridge, so we stopped at this little like deli market grocery store type place called Peas and Pickles. Jeremy got some sushi. I got a turkey sandwich, and they were both quite good. And also, his sushi was like $6 and my sandwich was like $8, so very reasonable.
As if our trek across the Brooklyn Bridge didn't give Jeremy enough anxiety, we have one more feat to tackle. We're about to go 100 floors up to the top of One World Trade Center, the tallest building in the entire Western Hemisphere.
I'm feeling pretty good about this. Jeremy, I think you're a little bit more apprehensive about going in the tallest building in the United States and the Western Hemisphere.
A little bit.
You can see it from all over the city. It definitely sticks out and you're like, wow, that's a tall building. Standing here at the foot of it and looking up, oh boy, are we in for a wild ride. So let's go up inside and check out the views from One World Observatory. They let us know at the entrance that there's 0 visibility. We won't be able to see very much today because it's a cloudy day. They gave us the option to change our tickets, but you know, we're just gonna do it. We're gonna see what we can see even on a cloudy day. This is probably better for you anyway.
I was gonna say, I'm not sure if it's better or worse, but it's probably better, I don't know.
Holy cow. interesting. It's showing us what New York looked like throughout the years and showing us like which buildings were erected in which years. It's really cool.
Welcome to One World Observatory.
Wow. Like, you look at all these buildings and they're so tall, and you're standing in a building that's taller than all of them. We walked across the Brooklyn Bridge. This is a cakewalk. This is like not even that big of a deal. So if you're someone like one of us that is afraid of heights, I think that this is definitely much more manageable than the Brooklyn Bridge even. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I'm still not loving it, but it's better than the Brooklyn Bridge was.
Worth it.
Yeah,
Anxiety that's worth it.
sure.
There's definitely less visibility over on this side, but you can still see the Brooklyn Bridge and the Manhattan Bridge right there. The 9/11 Memorial, which we'll visit. Look at this view of the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island. So far, like Midtown and Uptown have been harder to see, but I think that's the Empire State Building right there. This is our last day out and about in New York City. And it's cool to do this at the end because it's like, oh, we were there. Hey, look, there's the little island. Hey, look, there's the Battery. Washington Square Park? Oh yeah, it is. Look, there's the arch. I can see all the things that we did all from one place. It's really pretty incredible. Oh my god, it feels like we're spinning. I don't like this part. Do you feel like Spider-Man?
Sort of. This is so weird.
Yeah, it feels like it's moving the directions it's going, doesn't it?
That it probably wouldn't if I closed my eyes so much, but...
Thank you for visiting One World Observatory.
We just went through the 9/11 Memorial, which, if you've not done that, it is a rough one, but it's really beautiful and peaceful, and I highly recommend checking it out. There are these two beautiful fountains that outline where the actual building stood. And one thing that I didn't realize until walking through is that they actually have all of the names of the people who lost their lives, and they're kind of sectioned out by like different first responders and different flights. So it's really powerful. Definitely recommend checking it out. We decided to check out this bar across the street that's first responder themed called O'Hara's. Got a couple beers, got a couple burgers. I think we're set for the afternoon.
It was good.
It was good.
It was solid.
I think we're gonna head home, get the dog from the Airbnb. We drank a beer, time to go. I'm feeling it.
We accomplished so much on our trip to New York City, but if there's something that you think we missed, leave a comment and let us know so we can make sure to check it out next time.
If it gives you economic good luck, then you gotta do it, right?
Do I need the economic good luck as well? All right.